Good morning and welcome to All Things Sky Blue. Match preview against Rotherham coming up on the 5th of March on Tuesday. Shortly, I'll be joined by Mick from New York Talk, a Rotherham podcast, and he can tell us about where we can find them. Just remember, guys, where you can find us. We are on X or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. We're on YouTube. Please go and like and subscribe. We've managed to get that 400 subscriber mark. We're pushing for about 415, but as many as we can get. It's you guys out there that can help us push on and carry on being the number one podcast for Coventry City. You can also find us on podcast streams, Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Anchor, or wherever else you get your podcasts from. Please go and rate us 5 stars on there as well, and also go and like and subscribe. We're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena, and we're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. He can do your fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. So if you need any steels, welding, or anything like that for houses or builders or anything like that, please go and see him. There is a link in our bio and stuff as well for his website. He's a really good guy, so go and help out him as well. So I'm not joined by Mark today. Mark's unfortunately busy this morning because we are recording on Sunday morning, but I am joined by Mick. Good morning, Mick. You okay?
I'm all right, Stu. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Not too bad. Let's dive straight into it. First of all, where can we find you guys, and what do you guys do?
Yeah, we're the only, at the moment, Rotherham United podcast, unsurprisingly, really, given the size of us. New York Talk, we're on YouTube and all the usual podcast suppliers as well. We go out live on YouTube on a Sunday evening, 8:00, and then usually on a Thursday as well. And obviously the podcast's available on all the usual podcast suppliers. So yeah, that's where you can find us. Fantastic.
Right, so let's dive straight into it then. Back in October, I think it was, we were on a little bit of a not so good run, I suppose. We were struggling to find wins. We were kind of being found out playing a 3 at the back formation, whether it's 3-4-1-2 or 3. I think, if I remember rightly, I'm just trying to look now in my notes. We played a 3-1-4-2 is what we played, and you guys played a 4-3-3. Obviously, at that point under manager Matt Taylor. So, how did you guys feel going into that game? Because I don't think it's been great from the start necessarily, but how was you feeling in that game, if you can remember?
Well, we're still in a position as supporters where we thought we might be able to get something out of the season, to be honest. And your home games are always ones that you want to look at, aren't they? To get some points. So I would never say going into a game against a Coventry side that we're going to be confident ever. But it was certainly one that we look to get something from. We earmarked, as supporters, if you like, that we might at least come away with a draw. As it was, we were. It's one of our 3 glory days of the season. So we have to look back on it with fond memories.
Yeah. Obviously, it was a while ago, but again, we were in a place where we were creating chances. We just couldn't put anybody away. Not just yourselves; it was other teams around us as well. Really, because if I look at the form from when we last played you guys, we've won 5 at home, we've lost 2 at home, we've drew 4 at home, and we've won 5 away, lost 4, and drew 2. Obviously, unfortunately, you haven't won any away since you last played us. Anyway, I'm not sure what you did before that. Anyway, whether you did win any, I don't know. But
no,
No, so okay, so you haven't won any away. So your away form obviously is struggling. Well, not struggling. It's non-existent, really, isn't it? You know.
Correct.
Do
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
do you think, obviously, because you've had Wayne Carlisle as well as caretaker manager, and now you've got Lem Richardson as manager now. So, do you think? How can I put it? Has he changed anything from Matt being in charge?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it has. And our away performances have for me, and if there's any Rotherham United fans or any section of Rotherham United fans watch this, they'll probably disagree with me. But the away performances since he came in are markedly improved.
Oh wow,
They
okay,
really are. However, the results are not reflecting that in any way.
yeah.
Under Matt Taylor, you could almost guarantee that we were it was either going to be a dour 0-0 or we were going to get absolutely pasted. And what tended to happen was the worst form that the team was in that we were playing, the more goals they got. It was a bizarre situation. We've not won away from home since October 2022.
Wow.
And that was away at Sheffield United, who were flying high and on the way to the Premier League at that point. A local derby, so obviously form goes out the window to a degree there.
Yeah.
But since Liam Richardson's come in, the performances away from home have been, like I say, markedly better. We're a lot more organised. We're a lot more difficult to break down, and we've had some really decent performances. We got a draw away at Southampton. Arguably, we could have won that game, or had there not been a change in formation halfway through the first half, we could have lost it 7-0. You know, it was one of those, but we ended up with a draw. We went away to Blackburn over the Christmas period. We came away with a 2-2 draw. We missed 2 or 3 chances, one of which was actually, I'm pretty sure was actually on the goal line. We managed to get off at bar. But we again, arguably, we should have won that game. We went away to Ipswich last week or the week before, and barring a 20-minute period where the heads just went and we conceded 3 in the first half, we went ahead after 5 minutes and ended up losing 4-3. We could probably and arguably should have won that game. So we have got the performances in us. The last away game was away at QPR. We went 1-0 up again in sort of 10 minutes, and they were so poor. They were so poor, QPR, and yet managed to put 2 past us in the second half. So, I mean, I've never known a squad where the confidence is so low. It is just remarkable. So, but yeah, the away form is as poor as it always has been for the last few months. But the performances are improved.
Oh, okay. Well, look, when you import performances improve, you know, things can hopefully sometimes change. It just takes maybe a little bit longer than you want. You know, that what fans want it to. You know, slower than what the manager wants it to. You know, because the last game that we played, you played under Matt Taylor a 4-3-3. Do you think the change in formation has helped your away form because you're closing that midfield down? Now you're playing maybe 4 in midfield with a holding midfielder. Do you think that's helped, or do you think it's hindered you slightly?
I don't think the formation has had any change in the formation has had a massive impact, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it's purely it's just purely confidence. It really is. They are so low. It's ridiculous. And you know, you can argue all day, and we do regularly on the podcast about the quality of the players that we've got in the squad and everything else. And I seem to be a bit of a lone voice in that the quality's there. There are championship quality footballers and above in that squad. There's no doubt. Our goalkeeper is a Premier League goalkeeper, absolutely no doubt about it. And there's some hugely experienced Championship footballers in there, but they ain't playing together, and they're all playing with their heads down. I think that the issue that Liam Richardson's got is the season's dead and buried, absolutely dead and buried. So he's on a hiding to nothing in that respect. They're just not playing together as a unit, unfortunately. So you could play whatever formation you like, and I don't think it would impact massively on the results.
Right, okay, because obviously you mentioned the players there. We'll briefly talk about the January transfer window. You had 6 in, 6 out. I just noted a couple of them, really. Charlie Wyke, I quite like Charlie Wyke as a striker. You've got him on loan from Wigan, and Femi Serki, who's on loan from Sheffield United.
Yeah.
They're two good players that have come in, and I think, like I said, you've got another 4 that I didn't pick out anyway. They were just the 2 that came to my head that I knew a little bit more about, really. Are they the new signings? Have they made an impact? Obviously, I know your away form it hasn't, but have they helped in your away form? Are they going to be first teamers, or are they just squad players?
I think from the 2 that you've mentioned, Charlie Wyke is not match fit yet. I don't think he's been playing particularly at all at Wigan, hence why they've sent him out on loan. He's obviously close with Liam Richardson, having been the manager there. So I think that's with one eye on next season, the Charlie Wyke signing. Sariki is a young kid, he's a young lad, and he is going to be a quality footballer. There's no doubt about that. But it's difficult to say after having only seen him for not a huge amount of time. He's not had a huge amount of time on the pitch, but he's definitely one for the future. But I think the Championship at the moment is a little bit too much for him. So neither of those 2 have made an impact particularly. We signed a lad called Rinamota from Cardiff on loan as well, who I think he's out of contract at Cardiff at the end of the season. He's a central midfielder, and he's got some quality. He's got some fight, some battle. He's very much a Rotherham United type player. So he's made quite an impact, and is a starter. But yeah, I mean, the January transfer window was a bit like our search for a manager. Disappointing, and I don't mean that in terms of the search for the manager being disappointing in that we got Liam Richardson. I mean, it took 4 weeks and 4 or 5 games to get a manager in, and that was the issue. So it's not been. There's not a lot of positives coming from the Rotherham United camp at the moment, Stuart. I'm sorry.
No. Look, we have been there. Yeah. In the past, and it's been down. But what you've got to try and remember is, obviously, by listening to you now, and obviously talking slightly before as well, that you are very much now thinking of next season. Yeah. Is that the case?
Oh yeah, 100%, absolutely, and probably as supporters for quite a few weeks now. Obviously, the noises coming out of the club will never be that until it's it's confirmed.
Mathematically possible, yeah.
Yeah, which is perfectly fair and acceptable to most of us. But yeah, we know what we need to do now. There's going to be a rebuild in the summer. Some players will not want to drop down. We'll lose quite a few of them. Victor, the keeper, I think he has to go at the end of the season. He has to for his own sanity. And there is no way that he should be playing in League One. So
no.
Hopefully we'll get a decent price for him, and that will allow us to start to rebuild.
Yeah, obviously, I was going to mention your goalkeeper because a lot of our fans, when we spoke last season about getting a new goalkeeper in, everybody wanted the Rotherham goalkeeper in, even though you were down the bottom and you just survived. Yeah. Everybody thought that he would be gone anyway. To be fair, we didn't think you'd managed to keep him. So I suppose it was a real coup for you to be able to keep him for this season. But obviously with probably going down, I think it is inevitable that he is probably the main one that will be going, and you will lose, really, which is obviously a shame for you guys. But whoever gets him is getting a top championship goalkeeper on their hands, because from the stats and everything, not just this season but last season and every other season, he's been quite high in them stats for save shots and things like that as well. So it's a shame, but it's inevitable. Like I said, we've been there as well. Obviously last year with losing Vic and Hamer, but we've come out the other side, and I'm sure if the inevitable does happen, because like you said, it's not mathematically out the question yet. There's still enough games and still enough points. You've kind of got to hold hope. Me personally, I don't think you will. I think I think it is inevitable, but you've always got to have that hope, haven't you, as a fan?
Yeah, I think you have, but you've also got to be realistic, haven't you? We've won 3 games all season. We need to probably win 11 or 12 out of the last 11 or 12.
Yeah, I think there's 11 games left, to be fair. 33 points, and obviously you're 19 points from safety, but you've only got 19 points. So
yeah, it's doable. It's doable.
Yeah. It is. Have faith. Come on. Right. So obviously talking and looking to our game on Tuesday night. I think to be fair, so in all seriousness, you've beat us once this season already. We had a bit of a change in formation, which helped us out massively, going 4 at the black and playing 4-3-3. But because of recent injuries to Sheaf in the middle, to Sakamoto now out for the season on the right-hand side, I think you may have caught us at a right time to play us, because we've lost the last 2 against Preston and against West Brom on Friday night. And we've actually reverted now back to a back 3 because for some reason, he's decided to go back to a back 3. I didn't want to see it, on our WhatsApp group and things like that. I said it was a mistake. I said at the start of the season, we got found out too easy playing 3 at the back. And, when we went 4 at the back, we become solid. We were winning balls more. Look, our performances of late haven't been there anyway. So that, I think that may have coincided with the change in formation slightly because of the injuries that we've had. But I still think that we need to stick with the back 4. If we play a back 3 against you guys, I just think I'm not saying that you're going to win, but I think you could come away with a draw. And a draw, for me, the way that I look at things, you win your home games, you draw your away games, and you'll be somewhere close. And I just think that you might be finding us at the right time because of that change in formation. I know, obviously, slightly before we spoke, and you don't really follow anything outside of the Rotherham, which is fine. Did you watch the game on Friday night at all?
I didn't know. No, I didn't.
No. Okay.
But it's a local derby, isn't it? And everything goes out the window here.
Yeah, it does, but it still doesn't bode well. So what are you guys thinking? Obviously, because you've seen us, or you've seen the results of late sort of change slightly. We're not winning and things like that. So from your perspective, how are you feeling about going into Tuesday's game?
It's a really difficult question to answer, because under normal circumstances, I think, we'd be thinking, lost the last couple, they've got some injuries, there's a chance for us here. But given the circumstances of the season, the context of the season, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to get up as a supporter to be positive, really. And that doesn't help the team. It doesn't help anybody, does it? But it's just a fact. And you discussed there your injuries and the change in formation, and I'm not convinced that it's going to make a difference.
Okay.
I may be wrong. If we put in a performance like we put in the second half at Ipswich, I don't think a draw I think we'd be disappointed with the draw. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
Because we were absolutely outstanding for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But, you could add the rest of the time that we've been outstanding up all season and you'd probably get a full game out of it.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. So we know that the players have got it in them. And if you're suffering from injuries and you feel as supporters that the formation is not right, then yeah, I guess if all our players turn up, then we might get something. But as a supporter, it's really, really difficult at the moment, just because of the situation we're in and everything that we've already discussed.
Yeah. Obviously, I looked at the top goal scorers as well, and this might put it into a little bit, hopefully, in favour of us again as well. Really, your top goal scorers is Tom Eaves on 4 and Hakeem. I can't pronounce it.
Hakeem Duffin.
On 4, and then Jordan Hugill, who I quite like Jordan, to be fair. Hugill, he's on 3 goals. And obviously Coventry, we've got Wright on 12 goals. We've got O'Hare, Sims and Godden on 9 each. Yeah. Tats on 7. Obviously, he's out for the season, so he's not going to be there anyway. Sheaf's just coming back from injury. He's on 4, which is level with your top goal scorer. Yeah. And then we've got Palmer on 3 and Milan on 2. And that's not even to mention all the assists that they've got together as well, So that really should put everything in our favour, the performances that you guys have been having recently, obviously ours has gone downhill, but I just think that if we turn up, we do win the game, I think. And I think it's, it's only right, really, the fact that, like I said, our top goal scorers on 12 goals. We've got 3 players that are 1 goal away of hitting double figures. But I think that shows for us as a club as well that we're not just relying heavily on 2 players like we did last season. Vic and Hamer, they kind of dragged us through into the playoffs and then dragged us through the playoffs to where we nearly got to. We're very much a squad and a team that can score from anywhere. And hopefully that bodes well on Tuesday night as well. So obviously we've only are away. Like I said, at home, we've only lost 2, since the last time we played you, I think. And that was one against, I'm just trying to think now. One against Preston a couple of weeks ago. And I think one against, I think it was Norwich, or something like that anyway. But I just think that if we show up, we will have a little bit too much for you guys. Yeah. Anyway, obviously, you mentioned your expectations at the start of the season. Obviously, now it's just kind of you're playing for pride a little bit in terms of expectations. Can I get a prediction out of you for Tuesday's night game? Are you one for predictions or not?
Yeah, we always do one at the end of ours. And listen, I'm gonna say that we're gonna get a dirty 1-0 win.
Wow.
I'm dragging it. Positivity from the depths of the empty bucket of positivity.
Oh, bless you. I'm look. Again, if we don't show up and we turn up like we did against Preston, because that's just one of the worst games that I've ever seen, you stand a chance, in all honesty. Yeah. But then the inconsistency is, with them bad performances, we have a performance against Leicester, or we have a 3-1 win against, which was runaway leaders. They're not running away with it as much now, but at the time they were flying quite high. But I just think that we will have a little bit too much for you guys. Yeah. If you guys score the first goal, you might be able to squeeze maybe a draw out of it. I'll never go away for a Coventry loss. I just think, like I said, we'll have too much for you. If we score the first goal, it might open the floodgates up a little bit, as long as we play well. But I'm not gonna dismiss you guys by any stretch, because you've beaten us already playing the 3 at the back. If we play 3 at the back, I think we will be vulnerable, personally. but I'm probably going to go for a 2-0 win. We need a clean sheet, but I'm probably going to go for a 2-0 win.
Yeah, I'm just trying to help Victor out and get him a clean sheet before he leaves. So
yeah, I don't blame you. Don't blame you.
The other point you just made there about us scoring first, it'd be great for you, because so far this season we've lost 25 points from losing positions.
Oh, really?
Winning positions, sorry.
Wow. Okay. Well, to be fair, I think we're not far behind you from winning positions ourselves. To be fair, but yeah, it's not good. It's not good sometimes. Right. So just before we finish off, then I like to do some quick fire questions with our guests that come on. So the first one is New York Stadium.
Go on. I love it.
I love it. Okay.
Absolutely adore it. Given what we came from before at Millmore, which was just a collection of wooden stands and a bit of a mess, and then we ended up playing at, I don't even want to say it, Don Valley Stadium in Sheffield, which was just, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. It's a great little stadium. It fits us perfectly. You know, we're not a big club. We managed to sell it out most week, pretty much. So we've gone from having 2,000 people rattling around in a 50,000 seat stadium to having 10, 11,000 week in, week out. Happy days. Love New York Stadium.
Definitely. Obviously, again, we've been there when we moved to the Six Fields, and obviously ground sharing with Birmingham and things like that. We went. We did an interview with Frank Musa, who was part of that the team at the time that went from the Rico, as it was then, to Six Fields, playing in front of 20-odd thousand to playing just over 2,000, and you know he was saying how much of a shock it was, and it did affect the players a little bit, but obviously eventually we got back home, so we know exactly how that how that feels. The next one is Lem Richardson.
Lem Richardson, I am a fan. I am a fan, and I think he's going to be one of these managers that's going to be a slow burner. I like the way he talks. I like the ideas that he's put forward, and I like the way he's managed to kind of shore us up a little bit and make us a little bit more difficult to beat and far more organised. And I think once he's got a couple of transfer windows under his belt of his own, and got rid of some of the players that are just not performing, unfortunately, I think he'll be a decent manager, and then certainly for League One. So I'm so far so good.
Fantastic. Best away fans that you've seen so far?
Sorry, I can't. It's. I know you're not gonna like this. It's Birmingham City always.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Every time. They're always excellent. Worst, Ipswich.
Really?
Unbelievable. It felt like an away end full of millennials moaning and groaning every time something didn't go their way. It was at first you just think, but then like by the time you get to 70 minutes, and if they don't get a throw in, and everybody's crying, and it was just bizarre.
Wow.
Anyway,
wow.
That's showing my age.
Okay. Lee Poutier.
Oh, yeah, he's getting on a bit now, isn't he? Unfortunately, but he's great. I love Lee. I love him because he's everything you want in a footballer. You know, you could just have it. Just take 10 years off and give him another yard of pace.
Yeah.
He gets in the opposition's face. He likes to wind players up. He's solid in defence. He can play anywhere across the back line virtually, but he's old. And I love him. I love him to bits.
Okay, fair enough. Player of the season so far?
Victor Johansson, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And we mentioned him earlier on, and it was a bit of a coup to get him to stay for the season. Not only did we do that, he signed a new contract as well.
Oh wow! Okay.
So we kind of gave Victor his first opportunity in first team football. He came to us and he wasn't getting any first team football, and then he became our number one. And he has got an affinity for the club. He does love the club, and he loves it. So he will do the right thing for us.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sure of that. But he will go, and he will go on to play in the Premier League, have absolute or an equivalent somewhere else in Europe. But yeah, player of the season by a country mile.
Fantastic. Just before you do go, where do you see this game being won or lost?
In our defence, if we can put a fit back five out, which would be the first time this season, I think. Well, first time since September, then we may be okay. But if we are where we have been since we had a major injury crisis in back into September, early October, where we didn't have a single fit centre half, and we're currently playing. Lee Peltier played in the back three on Saturday. Hakeem Adofin, who you've already mentioned, is our joint top scorer.
Yeah.
He's a midfielder. He's not a centre half.
Oh, okay.
Albeit he's been absolutely excellent. So that's where it's going to be won or lost, probably.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Right. Thank you very much, Mick, for coming on. Much appreciated. If you can just tell us one more time where we can find you guys.
Yeah, it's New York Talk. We're on YouTube there on a Sunday evening live and a Monday evening, 8:00. We're also on all your usual podcast providers. So yeah, that's where we are.
Fantastic. We will indeed. We will indeed. Again, just remember you can find all things Sky Blue on X or Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Please go and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar and we're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications. We're on Spotify, Amazon, iTunes, wherever else you get your podcasts from as well. Again, this will come out some point later today. It will be out for people to watch. Again, give us 5 stars if it's a podcast that you're listening to, or give us a like and a follow or subscribe on our YouTube channel. Mick, once again, thank you very much for coming on. It's been great having you on. Apart from Tuesday, good luck for the rest of the season. Don't hold out much hope, if honesty. No. But I hope everything goes well and you're up at the end of next season again once you've probably been in League One. So all the best. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.